Jesus, your name is power, it's breath and living water. Your spirit guides me to the heart of the Father. I love playing music before the start of a live, but I've noticed anytime I play music, because of copyright, they block the video, the live, from some countries. So I decided I'm gonna sing before we start the video while I wait for you guys to join in. Hello, good morning. Good morning. I know it's 9 a.m. Some of you might be going to work. Others might have the day off. My guest today actually is on a different time zone, and I'm just waiting to see her. Let's see if I can invite my. So I just invited her to join. Love God and love people. And it all comes down to this. Love God and love people. Cause believing in no other. I love songs, but I don't know the lyrics. Hi, Micheala. Okay. Do me a favor. Can you hear me? Or can you hear my air conditioner? The AC. If you can hear me, just maybe give me a thumbs up, or I just want to make sure that the sound is better here, or I should turn it off. Should I turn it off? All right, guys. Hello and welcome to our August live. It's amazing. Every month we have a live and we talk about so many things. Last month we talked about why we don't pursue our dreams. And I think one thing that I left out is the one reason that I left out is because we fear ourselves. We fear how powerful we are and what we can do. And I just came to that realization while watching Akila and the Bee again. So we're going to talk about that maybe in another live. But today we want to talk about help. I need balance. And before I even bring my guest up, I just want to say that if you are watching this video to be an expert in balancing, you are at the wrong place. And I'll tell you why. Because there is no one that is an expert at balancing. Neither am I. We are here to just provide tips that will help you balance better. And I'll tell you why nobody is an expert at balancing. If you look at the people that juggle balls, balancing is a lot like juggling. And if you look at the people that juggle balls or apples or whatever they find juggling, if you ask them to juggle that for about 24 hours, they will not be able to do that. And that's because it's not sustainable. Their hands will be weak, their joints will just break, technically. And that's because as humans, we were not made to juggle a lot of things for a long period and a long stretch of time. And so there are different seasons where it will require more balance of us, and there are others than others. And that is why nobody can be an expert at balancing, and neither should you be balancing a lot of things for a long period of time. So today we're going to talk about, everything from your motive. Why are you even doing the things you're doing in the first place, to organization and helping you balance? And I'm really excited today to invite my guest, Micheala. I will bring her up to the platform now. So let's do this. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I want to say good morning, but it is afternoon where you are.
Yeah.
I'm
Good afternoon.
what do you do? Introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Micheala Gobe. I recently graduated from European University of Lefke, Northern Cyprus. So I'm a new graduate thus. Oh my God, yes. I mean, I'm so excited. It has been a journey. It was a bit exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this particular topic we're talking about is something I've experienced, balancing your academics life with your social life, your spiritual life. It's something that I had to learn throughout these 4 years, and I'm so excited that we are going to talk about something like this. So I can't wait for us to share everything that we have.
I'm so excited. And
me too.
Because you have gone through a process, like getting a nursing degree is not easy. I work in the hospital, nursing department, and so I understand how it's balancing with blogging, doing ministry, and a lot of things in life. And so we are talking about balance today. And I'm so excited that you just graduated and now you just build and share and help us get to a higher level of balance. So let us know, how was it for you? What was the process of getting to a comfortable balance? Because like we said, there's no perfect balance. There's no one is an expert at balancing. So how was that journey for you getting to that process?
Okay, thank you. Let me know if you can hear me or if you can see me.
I can hear you. It is a little, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I notice it's breaking. I think it has something to do with the network. How about now? Is it okay?
Good. It is good.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. To answer your question, how was I able to balance? To be honest, I was not able to balance. At some point, I felt so exhausted. I felt so overwhelmed, especially last year, somewhere around the ending of 2021. Like, I literally felt into a state of, I don't want to say depression, but I was having this episode of anxiety. I was so overwhelmed. I was so exhausted. There were so many uncertainties, like what next? Soon I will graduate. What next? Will I get a job? Like, will I get a good pay? Will I even pass my exam? Like, will I pass my final exam? Knowing that it's going to be so tough. Like, how am I going to balance everything? But one thing I can say for sure is that in that season, I felt like this extra strength from God, because I know it's not me. It's so not me, because if it was just me, like, I would have broken down. I would have just like isolated myself from everyone. But then in that moment,
we're breaking up.
That's one thing. Another thing that helped me was I was able to prioritize. We get so excited to do so many things because we feel like if we're doing so many things, we're being productive. But I've come to realize that you do one thing and do it so well, and that's you being productive. You having like 100 things on your to-do list doesn't make you productive. It just makes you so exhausted and so drained and so stressed. And that was exactly what I was doing. Like, I wanted to be involved in so many spiritual exercises because I felt like, if I'm in every department, it's like I'm serving God, I'm growing. But then I had to cut down on some department because I had my exams to prepare for. So I had to tell myself, like, it's really not bad if I should cut down on some church activities so that I can focus on my exams, so that I can pass. Because it wouldn't make sense if I ended up failing. Because it wouldn't be like a good image. Like, okay, she prays. She's so active in church. Yes, she couldn't pass her exam. Like, is that the God of the Christians? Like, I didn't want that. So I had to cut down on some activities. I had to cut down on some activities. I had to cut down on some church activities too. I also had to cut down on some social activities, you know. And it didn't always go down, like, it didn't go down well with some of my friends because they're like, you don't show up when we have events. But then if you are making an event that is clashing with my own time, like with my own schedule, I'm sorry, I have to decline. So how was I able to create balance? One, of course, God, I depended on the help of the Holy Spirit. Two, I had to prioritize, cut down on some activities. Three, I had to like delegate and like outsource. Let's say, for example, like come back from, can you hear me?
Yes.
I feel like the line is breaking. We're good, right?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, I had to delegate, I had to outsource. Let me say, for example, I come back from lectures, I'm so exhausted, but then I have to fix something to eat. And I have to cook, but then I don't have the strength to cook. I just ask my housemate, like, girl, can you just like do dinner this night, you know, fix us something to eat? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. So I have to also outsource, I have to delegate. And this can be a bit difficult, like, especially if you're the type of person that you don't feel confident in someone else is doing something because you feel like they can't do it the way you will do it. But then you just have to learn how to trust others to help you out. So I had to delegate some easy activities that I feel like someone else can do them easily and focus on more important tasks at hand. So that's how I was able to. Yeah, that's how I was able to.
Micheala, you just summarized all the points that I have on my my script. But we're gonna pick each and really dive. But I want to welcome everyone that is joining us today. We're talking about health. And what better person to talk about it than Micheala? She just graduated her nursing degree while balancing, you know, her blogging and, you know, relationships, friendships, etc. So we are here to talk about today. And so I just want to take a step back before we even share about how should we balance, how can we be better at balancing. I want to talk about why we have so much in the first place to balance. And I had to take myself out because I think in Luke 14 verse 28 to 30, I'm going to read that. Jesus disciples and he said, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and pay the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and not able to finish strong, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. And so it dawned on me that a lot of us take up tasks that we don't first sit down to count the cost. For example, I started the process journey of writing my book and publishing it in 1 year. And when they cost the amount that they told me to cost, I had to sit down and look through my budget and cut down things. Okay, so I'm paying this amount going to the gym. I can go to a less expensive gym and get the same workout. So we have to cut that. You know, I'm contributing this much to my family household. I have cut that out. I'm doing so many things like eating out, all that stuff. Grocery shop, you have to cut it down. You have to look for other alternatives that can, you know, provide for. Counting the cost, we need to sit down and say, is this something that I can start and that I can finish?
True.
And also, a lot of us think about the money, but we forget about the time.
Yeah.
Time is also money. And a lot of us, if I count the amount of time that I'm investing in this book and starting this book, if I counted the equivalent in dollars, in money, it is times 2 or even 3 actual amount that it, so a lot of us really need to sit down and count the cost, not just only the money, because God will provide. He has called you to provide, but also the time. I'm a person that I love my sleep time. Waking up today early and being on this live at 9 a.m. on my day off is just, it's not what I would do. But this is what I've chosen to. And so I want to know, if your journey, were you able to sit down and count the cost before even actually stepping into it?
Okay, so before I answer your question, just to add to what you said, yeah, you have to count both the financial part, the time, and also the energy, also the energy. Yeah.
Can I
go ahead?
Just chip in for a second. So Sheon is asking, what's this discussion all about? So Sheon, we're talking about today, this is our monthly live. So every month we have a live, we have a question that we discuss. Last live we talked about why don't we pursue our dream? We listed a bunch, and I think you can watch that video on YouTube to recap. But today we're talking about help and balance. We're talking about how to be better at balancing than juggling the many balls that we are juggling. But right now, even before we talk about how to be better at balancing, we're talking about intention. Like, why in the first place are you doing what you're doing? So that's what we're talking about. Micheala, go ahead.
Okay, yes. So just to add to what you said, to count the cost, yeah, you have to count both the financials, the time, and energy. I think was it 2 years ago, I wrote a blog post, how to manage your personal resources. And I came to realize that we have 3 personal resources: time, energy, and money. So if you're going to do something, you also have to consider, do you have the strength? Do you have the capacity? Yeah, do you have the strength to do it? Do you also have the capacity to do it? Don't just start something because everybody is doing it. You know, we as humans have the potential to influence others. Maybe because I see Emanuela is blogging. I'm like, yeah, that looks so easy. So me too, I'm going to do it. But I don't have that capacity. I don't have the strength. I don't even have the patience to sit down and think about content and batch create, and show up consistently. So you also have to count that too. Do I have the energy? Do I have the capacity? Have I reached that stage where I can handle this? Yeah. And if you ask yourself these questions and the answer is no, don't feel bad. You are still growing. Yeah. So build that capacity, build that strength, and then embark on that journey. So yeah, that's what I just want to add. And to answer your question, did I count the cost? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Sometimes being an overthinker, people think that it's a bad thing, but it has its own advantage because you play out the scenes. Like, even before it happens, you have played out 10 scenarios, so you know if it goes.
We're breaking, but we're getting back.
Okay, sorry about that. I think I have really little notifications. Yes. So being an overthinker is not that all bad. It has its own advantage because you get to think before you act and you get to plan before you act. In as much as it has its own negative side, maybe you spend so much energy thinking than doing, but it helps you to cut down costs. Yeah, it helps you to cut down costs. Let me, for example, I thought about it. So let's say I don't give time to study and I fail my final nursing exam. That means I will have to repeat that semester. That's another expense. I cannot afford that. So I counted that cost. That's financially. How about the time? Can I afford to spend another 3 months repeating a semester? I could do something within that 3 months. So no, I cannot afford to fail. How about the energy? I mean, I know, like, okay, so if I happen to fail and I repeat that semester, it's still going to be the same course, it's still going to be the same lecturer. But do I have the energy to sit down and do those assignments again? do I have the energy to sit in that same class again? Like, I don't. So I don't have an option. It's either I pass or I pass. There's no option like failing. So if I have to cut down on yeah, it's either I pass or I pass. There is no plan B. So if I have to cut down on some activities, I am cutting down on them. If I have to piss a friend off because I can't show up, I'm sorry. If you can understand, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, if I have to cut down on some church activities, I would, like, I have to, of course, I will explain. Yeah, let me say, for example, I'm in the ushering department and then we have to do sanitations on Saturdays and I can't make I can't make it. Of course, I'll explain. I will text my head, like, I'm so sorry. Because of school, for this next 3 months, I will be unavailable. Please pardon me. Immediately after my exam, I will resume my duty. And if they are very understanding, they're like, yeah, sure, sure. Someone else will just fill in the gap, yeah? But then I won't, like, feel terrible that, okay, yeah, I have to do all these things. Like, it is my responsibility. I have to do it. Do it, like, how will this person feel if I don't show up? How will this person feel if I don't show up? Yeah.
And that,
so I won't, like, go ahead.
Those feelings are very valid. We begin to feel that, oh, why? And you know what? I believe it was last week or last 2 weeks. A friend of she was actually my guest in the last one. Well, we're very close friends. We went to the same high school together and the same community college. And she was going to the state. She got accepted to Fordham Law. And we planned to have a send forth. And the planner that I am, I already, was ready at the beach. But I was getting ready. But I did not take into consideration that I would be starting a 6-week summer course. And the day of our send fell on a Saturday that I was working. And I worked till 6. And I had an exam day that was due. Even after planning to go and everything, I had to send her a text and be like, girl, I cannot do this. There's no way I can please you, be there for you, and not be there for myself. And so I took this quote that anytime you have to choose between pleasing someone or showing up for yourself or getting attacked for yourself, show up for yourself. Show up for yourself, because that way you can split it. I know for a fact I was at that send forth, my mind will not be there. My body will be there, but my mind is about all the books and pages I have to study to get ready. And so we definitely have to put ourselves first when it comes to balancing. But I want to talk about something that you mentioned, and that is the comparison. There's a book that's coming actually by one of my favorite, Nonna Jones. She's amazing. I just ordered it actually. I ordered it because it's gonna come out in September. And the title of the book is Reject the Lie. Reject the lie. You are good enough and live confident in who God made you to be. And so I just pre-ordered this book. I feel like a lot of us get into things because of the comparison game. And I'm gonna at the end, I'm gonna put a link below on the YouTube channel when I repost this for you guys to watch the video she did with Anthony O'Neill that I watched last night, and it was so good. And I will share this. When I started Nuellas Nuggets Instagram page, I deleted it. I believe last year or 2 years ago. And the reason I deleted it was because it just became a mess. I had fallen off of what God intended for that page to be. I started doing follow for follow. I started, looking at other. It was just a lot of comparison. Like, okay, what is this person doing to grow their page and their followers and everything? And what can I be doing? You know, this is that. And when we compare a lot, it inspires us. It's like
true, it does.
it inspires us. And I had to leave it and start the page from scratch. And when I started it from scratch, I had to remind me, and he keeps reminding me, you have to remember the why. Why you started not to use the work. It's for you to be a blessing. And I've been able to do a lot of things, even with the little followers that I have. I've been able to start a business and sell products. I've been able to have my first client. I've been able to do a lot of things that, again, I'm not gonna compare that that wasn't able to do even when I had almost 1,000 followers in the past, when I had the last IG page. So you talked. I want you to talk a little bit about comparison, if you will.
Yes. So, like you already said, comparison is something that can steal your joy. It's like, I'm not good enough. I personally feel like when you compare yourself, you're low key, should I say, insulting God, like you didn't make me perfect enough like this other person. It's like the clay telling the potter, no, you just made a mistake, remold me again. That's what comparison does. In as much as it's good, sometimes comparison can be good. But the question is why? Like, why am I comparing myself? If I'm comparing myself, like, to seek inspiration, to like grow, develop myself better, because we all need motivation, we all need to be inspired. Yeah, so if I'm looking at what you're doing and I'm so inspired and I'm like, okay, I want to do what she's doing, but in my own unique way, then it's okay. It becomes a problem when you're so fixated on it, like she has the perfect life, she has the perfect business. I mean, even spiritually, she seems to have a perfect relationship with God. And here I am, I'm a mess, I'm struggling. So you now start to compare, okay, she prays 1 hour. I am also going to do that. And then you now start watching this person's life, everything they do. If she's praying, she does like this, she does like this, just like this. So it means I'll start doing all that. And when you do this, what you're doing, you are literally robbing yourself. Like, you are stripping yourself of your natural uniqueness and the way God has created you. And it does more damage than good, because in as much as we are all children of God, He relates with all of us differently. But when you compare your business, you compare your blog, you compare your faith work with another, you are doing more harm than good. See, I think I personally have fallen into this comparison trap. That was what even made me create that blog post on comparison, and I think I even need an IG Live. It was so bad. Like, the joy I used to have to create content, I no longer had that joy.
Yes.
And the initial reason why I started blogging is like I forgot. Initially, I would tell myself that every content I create is for one person. If that one person sees it and they're blessed, I am happy. But all of a sudden, I am now
Just a little. We're back.
initially, when I started, I was like, it's just for one person. I mean, it's for that one person. If that one person gets what I'm saying, if that one person comes across my content, if that one person reads my blog post, like, glory to God. But then all of a sudden, I saw myself going towards the other side. You know, like, I'm now looking at, like, I come on IG, instead of just enjoying, I'm now checking other person, okay, this person did this person did that, this person did this, how can I apply it into my own niche and all the kinds of things. And content creating became a chore instead of it being like a ministry, instead of it being something that I enjoy, it became a chore. I had to remind myself that my job is to cultivate. It is God that brings the growth and the increase. I will not grow by comparing myself to another. We are each unique. And I had to remind myself that another believer doing what I'm doing is not a competition. We're in the same team. We have one goal. We have one goal. That is Christ be made known to all men. So be it through storytelling, be it through singing, be it through dancing, we all have one goal. So if I see another person doing what they do and they do it well, I can either learn from them, but I don't become so fixated that I want to compare myself and feel terrible about myself that I'm not good enough. You know, that kind of a thing. So it will just drain you.
Yeah.
You will no longer have joy, and you will not fix your gaze on the main thing. You will not fix. You will literally lose sight. Yeah, so you will lose sight. So it's a very dangerous trap. And eventually, we all fall into this trap. Like once in a while, we find ourselves comparing, and it's okay. But when you catch yourself, remind yourself why. Like this is not it. Like remind yourself why and snap out of it. Quick, quick, quick. Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
I love that you said that. I think another thing to remember, you're comparing when God created, he said we were perfect. It's perfect. It's good.
Yeah.
You're comparing perfect over perfect. Like that's the person.
Yeah.
God also made them perfect. There's no need for you to compare. Stay in your lane. And I know we're like, and we could go for hours. When we talk, we could go for hours. But I want one more thing that I think we would it's necessary to point out before we actually go into sharing tips about how to balance. I know we've been talking tips.
Talking about a lot of things.
There's a lot, but I think we also struggle because of the unnecessary expectations of ourselves.
Yeah,
we tend to put unnecessary expectations on ourselves, and like you said at the beginning of this life, a lot of us want to jump. But when we focus on one thing and we do it best, we do all our which we do it better, get better reward. And unnecessary expectation of myself is thinking that I can do everything I'm doing, I can give the same attention, I can give the same time and the same energy, everything that I'm doing. It's impossible. You will burn out. And so that's what we need to balance. And so we're going to talk how to balance right now. We're actually going to be this is amazing. I love this. So let's talk about how to balance. Number one here that I have is to reassess your balls. Reassess them. Check them all out. Like right now, what I've never done this, but let's do this. Reassess your balls. Let us do this. I want to use my board. Can you see it, or
it's clear? I can see
you can see the words, or it is...
No, not really. But I think you should write something.
Let's see. So when we're talking about number one, to reassess, can you see that? Or it's
I can.
Okay, reassess your balls. So, for example, if you're juggling multiple balls at the same time, right now, I work full time. What are my balls? This is 8, let's say 8 hours. I work full time. I'm going to school part time. I'm writing my book. I'm still serving in the worship ministry. What else am I doing? I just started the business. I possibly Ghana. Have to prepare for. Also working on my physical health.
Yeah, and the blog.
And the blog and the We'll use this balls, blog, YouTube, Instagram. You have to your balls. What are the things that you need to reduce? What are the things that you need to take out? There's a game, Survivor. I don't know if you watch Survivor, but I really love Survivor. And there's a game called Motion. It's a game where you start putting in one ball into this I don't know what they call it, but into a sort of game thingy. And the ball rolls around, comes out on the other end, and you have to catch the ball. If you drop the ball out of the game. And so at different intervals, you're supposed to add an extra ball. And so that complicates issues. And a lot of people, you have to keep adding, but you have to keep catching and keep putting it back. And so that just becomes so complicated. And a lot of us, that's our life. Our life is the game of we keep adding. First of all, stop adding things to your workload. Stop adding and access what you have. We already talked about why. Your motive is very important. Why are you doing this? Is it because you're comparing? Are you have unnecessary expectations of yourself? Have you sat down and counted the cost about the time, the energy, and the money that's going to take to do this? Are you able to give what different times are you able to bring this ball in? Like I said, a juggler cannot keep juggling for a whole day. There are seasons where you would need to take some things out and also add some things in. So the first step is for us to reassess the balls. And by doing that, we have to put a cap on our task. We're not asking more. And so we have to see what we're doing. And then sometimes we have to take things off or also reduce the amount of time that we are given to that particular task. And we've also talked about asking ourselves why.
Can I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
To what you think. Yes, so I when it comes to reassessing, I think it's almost the same as prioritizing. I saw this something where you group your activities. Some things are important, but they are not urgent.
Yes.
Some things are urgent, but they're not important. Some things are important, but you can do them later. So you have to know the timeline and the time frame for each activity. Let's say, for example, you are working full time. You know it's very important that you show up because you need to get that paycheck. And apart from the cash, you have responsibilities and obligations. You know, you signed a contract of agreement that you're going to work from so hours to so hours. So it's important. So you have to show up. And while you are there, are we back?
We're back.
Okay. Let's like I made mention already. As example, you have a full-time job. It's important, it's urgent because you need the job. So let's be real, you need the job. You need that finance from the job to support your blog, your book, and all the other sort of things. So that's important. Let's say, for example, the next thing you would there is you are serving in the worship ministry. That also is very important because it's your spiritual responsibility. So you have to look at the amount of time you spend there. Let's say, for example, you're spending like 16 hours a week practicing. If there's a way you can cut it down, or maybe if there's a way you can have a backup, maybe someone else who is also, I think we are, okay, like someone also who is also part of the worship team. You guys can delegate. Let me say, for example, I lead worship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you lead worship Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm just giving an example. And next, let's say you have an exam in 3 months' time, and the exam is very important. The exam is expensive, it's very, very important. And let's say, example, you have a friend's birthday coming up in 3 months' time, and they ask you to help them plan the birthday. In as much as you love your friend, If they're your friend, you can explain to them, like, I really, really want to help you, but I can't because I have an exam that I'm preparing for. But I'll be here giving my moral support. And if they're really good friends, they will really understand. You can even suggest someone else who can do the job better than you. So you have enough time. So prioritize your activities within the time frame.
I love that you said that, and you mentioned that you actually went ahead. And I want to talk. I want to say another thing that you've been saying. I want to reiterate. Number 2 is learning the art. I did share a note to my friend who was going to Fordham Law, and I couldn't be at Stanford, and I didn't even see her before she left, because the day that I went to go see her, my car broke down. So it was life happened, and you have to learn the art of saying no. Now I want to give you a tip of learning. A lot of people are people pleasers. I've learned that about myself. I like to please people, and I'm learning not to please people a lot and saying no. And so when someone approaches you face to face, you guys meet face to face, but when someone approaches you face to face and they ask if you can do something or you should do something, if you cannot say no right there and then, tell the person, can you give me time to think about it? That's what you should do. Ask time to think about it, and go home and think about it and write a good response. Also, even if the person asks through a text message, don't be so quick to respond. People want to know that you actually took time to think about their proposal or their request, because that means you talk. Don't just go home and be like, oh, okay, now let me text this person. It's not even been up to 24 hours or 12 hours that you're like texting the person, oh, I thought about that, I can't do this anymore. And have a good response. You can't then you have to give you know what? I know some people said you don't have to give anybody an explanation, but I'm on the fence with that. I'm like, sometimes, I feel like I have a valid reason for why I cannot. For example, this entire summer, since June, I haven't served on my worship team because of lot of transition and also school and starting the business and everything. I haven't served, and that was a valid reason for me that I told my worship pastor, and from September I'm gonna get back on the list. And so being able to, it's honesty goes a long way. Just letting people know that I would love to do this, I love to sing, but I cannot do this at this point of time. So learning the art of saying no to others, the art of saying yes to yourself is very important. Because you want to say something, go ahead.
I wanted to say, I think the reason why a lot of people are afraid of saying no, like you already said, is people pleasing. They don't want to be seen as bad, And I also think a lot of believers also fall in this category. Because, I mean, if someone asks you to do something and you say no, like, some people are so good at guilt trapping you, making you feel awful for setting your boundaries. Like, guy, it's my boundaries, You ask for help, but I have the choice to say yes or no. But if I say no, you become so mad. You ask me why and you need an explanation. And even when I give a genuine explanation, you get so mad and you go and say, but I thought you're a Christian. I'm sorry, because I'm a Christian, does that mean I have to say yes to everything? And God, it makes no sense. Even if I say yes, inside me I am dying. Like I'm crying. I am angry. Like I'm not doing it with my whole heart. So what is the benefit of me offering or of me saying yes, and at the same time I'm not doing it with my whole heart? When Scripture said that whatever we do, we should do it as unto the Lord, and we know that if we are serving the Lord, we have to do it with our whole heart. So I can't please you at my own and disadvantage. Because your emergency is not my urgency. I'm sorry.
Ooh,
honestly, your emergency is not my urgency. Your emergency is not my urgency.
Yeah.
Just understand, if you're a nice, understanding person, and that's like friends, we are supposed to be friends here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we can be there for one another, but we are also supposed to be understanding. If I give you a nice explanation, that kind of a thing, but I will talk to you very, very nicely, and I give you my reason why I can't help. Just say yes, just okay, I understand. And I can even offer, like, I can't make it, but I know someone else who can. Or I can't make it, but I can connect you to someone else who can. That's me helping.
Or we can
So
set
don't be
another
afraid to say
date.
no.
Or we can
Yeah,
set
exactly. Or we can
yep.
consider a date. Exactly. Exactly. So don't be afraid to say no. Don't let anybody pressure you. Their emergency is not your urgency. Okay?
Yes. I love that. And I want to give we're almost like 15 minutes. I want to give
Okay.
the last tip and other things to talk about. Oh, I love this conversation. Um, blocking. Yo, this is number one. We talked about reassessing your balls, the task
Yeah.
that you're juggling. Number two, we talked about learning the art of saying no to others and saying yes to yourself. Like Micheala said,
Yeah.
your urgency is not my emergency. Oh,
Yeah.
vice versa. And the third one
Yeah.
that we want to talk about today is time blocking. I don't know if you guys can see, but it is time blocking.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to block your time, I want you to identify time suckers, because this is something that I'm really working on in this season of life. For example, I go to work, come back around 6 p.m. and usually my workout time is from 7 to 8 p.m. But on days that I don't work out, I come back and I get my and I sit on the couch and I watch TV till like 10, 11. Watching TV is a de-stress technique for me. I'm not even necessarily understanding what is going on or connected. It's just on, and my eyes is fixated on it, and it's a way. Hi, Ashley. It's a way to just step out of my day and step another. They call it multiverse, but another reality. And
Yeah.
I sat down one day, and I'm like, I spend like 4 to 5 hours a day watching TV that I could be investing in my business or in knowledge, in reading. There's a lot to do. I have a lot of balls that I'm juggling, and I still haven't set out the time to give attention to those balls that I'm juggling. So it was like this week, and I also so this month I'm going through the IK challenge because that helps me just live a better sexual pure life and thoughts, because movies, we could talk about that in another way, but I've noticed that just this week of reducing or eliminating my TV consumption, I've been able to do a lot. I cannot just imagine how much I've been able to do this week. And so let's talk about identifying time suckers. What were some of the time suckers in your journey of getting your degree and also being able to balance the other balls?
Okay, so I think it's also very important that you identify things that are distractors. We
Mm-hmm.
have stressors, things that stress you, and things that distract you. For me, my phone was one of my distractors. Oh my God, my phone. And my excuse, or what I tell myself to feel good, is, well, I'm a content creator. I need to see the latest, I need to see what people are doing so that I can get inspiration. But I'll be on my phone for like 5 hours. I'm not doing anything. I'm just scrolling, liking, getting mad at someone for saying something. And then I leave being so upset, being so anxious. I can't study, I can't pray. So my phone was one of my biggest distractions. So what I had to do is give myself time, like we just said, time blocking, yeah. So when I wake up in the morning, I say, okay, if I'm going to spend time on social media, it's going to be 10 minutes on IG, 10 minutes on Facebook, and thank God on IG, I think you can set time
Yes.
limit or something. Yes.
Helpful.
So I did that. And then my phone has what they call like focus mode. So I just turn it on. So when it's after 10 minutes, all those apps would just like be inactive. Yeah. So that was what I was doing. But even with that, it took a lot of discipline because I mean, I can
Click
just go back to my
and say
settings.
15 more
Yeah, I
minutes.
can go back to
One
my
more minute. Yep.
exactly. I can go back to my setting and everything. But even with that, yeah, it was still difficult. And something amazing really happened. Looking back, I think it's a blessing in disguise. A week to my exam, my phone went off. Now I don't want to, I don't even know, should I say if that's like God's doing? But my phone just went off. Like my screen had an issue and I had to pay this huge sum of amount to fix it. And I was so not ready. So for a whole week, I was offline. No calls, no WhatsApp, no Facebook, nothing, nothing. At first, it was a bit difficult, but then I discovered that I was able to read a lot within that 1 week. I was able to work on my graduation project. I was able to work on my case study. I was able to attend my taking. Yes, so I was during that 1 week. I was able to attend my internship. I was able to work on my case study. I was able to fill in my patient logbook. I was able to study for my exams. You know, I was able to do a lot of things within that 1 week. So I feel like that 1 week was a blessing. And that's how I was able to identify that my phone is like the culprit here. This phone, this little tiny thingy, it's dangerous. So yeah, and then I also had to intentionally. It takes discipline also for you to stick to your time blocking activities here. That for example, you've given yourself 1 hour, 30 minutes to study.
Yeah.
Your body hates it. Like within that 1 hour, 30 minutes, like you are itchy.
Yeah.
You want to.
You can't sit still for 1 hour 30.
I think we were breaking. Yes, we are back. We are back. We're back. Yeah. So as I was saying, for example, you tell yourself that today, Friday, I'm going to spend 30 minutes in the ward. I'm going to spend 1 hour, 30 minutes on schoolwork. I'm going to spend 1 hour to check up on friends and family. So do your best to work within that time frame. It takes a lot of discipline though, and it's so not easy because this body likes pleasure. Like this body likes pleasure. Within that 30 minutes, like your body will be itchy, like drop the book, pick up your phone. Some random thoughts will just pop and they just spend the whole 30 minutes daydreaming, just be thinking about graduation, just thinking about when I get married, when I get my new car, and time is going. Like time is going, like time is not on your side. You have to discipline yourself mentally. You also have to discipline yourself mentally that 1 hour is for studies and I'm going to focus on that. 30 minutes is for the world and I'm going to focus on that. And then you also have those times where you have guests that will come to your place unannounced. And if you are the uncomfortable person, you can't tell them to leave. It now puts you in such an awkward situation. Like, I can't tell you to leave, but I can't leave you alone in the sitting room without entertaining you. So you're now there, you're trying to have a conversation, but you're like, please leave, I have things to do. But then you're like, and then you have all these things. So it takes discipline, honestly. It's really not easy, but it's possible. It's possible.
I love everything you said. And we have 6 more minutes on the clock. I don't want this live to go longer than an hour.
Okay.
For people that are rewatching, that are going to rewatch it, we've we've given a lot of real.
I think we should do a part 2 of this thing. Probably a YouTube live or something.
Yes, that would really work. I just want to end with this today. There is a song by Darlene, if I pronounce that right, which is called Jesus Center. And I was listening to the YouTube version, but it says there's a line that says, Jesus, you're the center. Everything revolves around you.
Oh, yeah, I know the song.
And it is nothing else matters. Nothing in this world will do. Jesus, you're the center. And everything revolves around you. Jesus, you. As content creators, I want to move past the content creators, but as just believers in Christ, we are in this world, but we are not of this world. And so we need to understand that even as we're pursuing freedom in our finances, financial freedom, we're pursuing our businesses, we're pursuing education and etc. And the fame and the fortune, etc. Even if we want to live a comfortable life, we need to understand that Jesus ourselves. We need to get back to the important things. I did a video, a reel, and I was talking about how a lot of us are doing things that God called us to do. And just there's a lot more we can talk about, and I just want to cut this short and end it here. No matter what you're doing, if you're juggling out these balls, I think that there's this thing, what do they call it? It's like a windmill. It has a center. All those blades, plates that are going around, for us, those are our tasks. For me, that is my school, my ministry, the blog, the book, the school, the travel, everything that I have to do. But what has to be center, hold all those things in place is God, whatever it is. Because He will want to give us strength and sustain. Because He that has called you will put patience. If you know what God has called you to do, He's gonna see you through. It did not bring you this far to bring you. And so I just want to end with that nobody is an expert at that, and we should not be back for a long period of time. We started with that at the beginning. If you tell the juggler to keep juggling multiple balls for 24 hours, he would not be able to do it. That's because we're not created to juggle and carry a lot of things on our shoulders for a long period of time. There are seasons. Ecclesiastes even said it. There's a time to sow, to reap, to invest, to plant, everything. So if you're in a season where you need help with balancing, I really hope that these tips helped you learn how to balance better in this season. And Micheala, thank you so much for
Thank you for having me. Really an amazing session. We should really do a part 2 of this, maybe an IG live or Facebook live or something
on your page. So I will be coming.
Yeah,
so let's
sure.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Can I say something? Say something real quick? Can I say something? Yeah, so while you were saying having Jesus at the center, this scripture just came to my mind. It says, to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever think or ask of, according to His power that is at work in you. So you have the Holy Spirit in you. He gives you the energy, the strength. He will teach you how to manage your time. He will show you the things that are wasting your time. He's constantly speaking. He will tell you the activities to cut down on. All you have to do is pay attention, be willing to obey. Yeah, and then He will help you to create balance. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
But there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. God bless.
Thank you guys for watching. Wave out everything in moderation. That's true. Hashtag balance.
Bye.
Bye.